Lab 3 to measure acceleration was discussed in the lecture, and I hope you have completed that and submitted already. This is Lab 3A, another simple way to measure acceleration, using the animation we used for Lab 2. If a car starts from rest, what does that mean? Starts from rest, its initial velocity is 0, and accelerates for a time t, the velocity it will acquire at the end of that time is given by v equal to at. Now look at the similarity between this equation and y equal to mx. So if you draw a graph of v on the vertical axis and t on the horizontal axis, what will be its slope? Its slope will be a, the acceleration. Alright, what is the unit for measuring acceleration? Do you remember? Well, I want you to write down that in the lab report. Well, in the lab activity, we will run the car for a time t and measure the velocity at the end of that time. Now, you will record those for trial 1. You record the velocity at the end of time t. Now, this should read time t in seconds. All right? And we will do several trials. We will run the car for different time periods so that v and t will be different. And what will you do? You draw a graph of v on the vertical axis and time t on the horizontal axis and measure its slope and show on the graph how the slope is measured. And also, what does the slope represent? As I said in the last class, if you do not include the unit for the slope, the physical meaning of the slope is lost. Alright, let's go and look at the animation and take our measurements. I will run the car for a period of time t. You measure the velocity. You see where the velocity is going to be measured. Measure the velocity and the time shown by the clock. All right, first trial, let's start. I'm going to stop it. Take the velocity value and the time value. All right, I'm going to reset it. Second trial. There you go. Measure the velocity and the time. I'm going to reset it. Let's do the third trial. There you go. Measure the velocity and the time. I'm going to reset it. Let's go for the fourth trial. All right, measure the velocity and time and record them. Let's reset it. We'll go for the fifth trial. All right, measure the velocity and time. Let's reset it. Let's go for the next trial. Is that the sixth one? Let's start it. All right. You got the velocity and time, and we are only doing one more trial. All right, reset it. Start for the last trial. measure the velocity and time, and record it. Well, we have, I think, 7 trials. So use those velocity and time values to do a graph of velocity on the vertical axis, time on the horizontal axis. Show how the slope of the graph is measured. Now remember, you need to do the trend line before measuring the slope. Show how the slope is measured and record it with the appropriate unit. All right, complete the worksheet and upload it.